Hey guys, it's Kyle down here at Lunicycle. Today I'm going to show you how to install the Talaria Komodo Supermoto wheel set. Okay, the first thing you want to do is power off your bike, put it in a work stand where the rear wheel is in the air. The next thing you need to do is remove this little chain guide. The toolkit that came with your bike, it has a T30 bit. Don't use power tools taking these off. We have stripped some of these out. So just use hand tools for this little chain guide. Grab yourself a decent 8mm Allen wrench and loosen this rear axle bolt. Don't fully remove it. Once you've got it loose, you can go ahead and give this axle bolt a nice little tap, and it's going to start pushing the axle out. Axle should slide right out. Now you can remove the chain from the sprocket and pull your wheel out of whatever. Now it's time to grab the rear Supermoto wheel. If you notice, ours are all blacked out. If you get these wheels from anyone else, they got silver spokes. Gross. Alright, so these wheels come with tires, tubes, and rotors. You will need to swap over your old sprocket. If you got your bike from us and it's the blacked out edition, it comes with an extra sprocket. We think the bike runs a lot better with the 50-tooth sprocket. So go ahead and install that on the rear wheel. The next thing you need to do is grab your little bushings. Some guys forget to put these on. So you take these bushings off your old wheel. The big thick one goes on the sprocket side. The skinnier one goes on the disc brake side. Okay, the rear brake on these, when you remove the disc, the pads like to close and makes it really difficult to install the disc. Go ahead and reset the pistons. You can do that real easily by just pushing that silver piston back into place. And then you got to do it kind of quickly because this is going to slowly close itself again. Reminder, you do need to pump your rear brake a few times before it's going to feel good again because you just reset the piston. Alright, now it's time to guide the rear wheel into place. It can be helpful to lift the chain up over this guard. It just kind of keeps it out of the way when you're installing the rear wheel. Double check you have the two bushings and just kind of guide this up. Keep your eyes on the disc. If you guide the disc in between the pads, everything should go into place easily. On the rear axle, the left and the right are different. The left side actually has this little keyed notch. You can see this jumps into place. You need to pay attention to this and get this fully seated before you tighten your axle. You don't want it like this, you want it locked into place. And if you mix up your axle blocks, they're not going to work properly. Alright, once you've got your axle about halfway in, go ahead and put the chain back on the sprocket. Once you have the chain on the sprocket, push the axle the rest of the way into the dropout. Be sure you've got your axle into the tensioner block. You don't want it sitting like that. It will still let you put the bolt in even if this axle block isn't in the proper spot. Go ahead and reinstall your chain guide. Just get these nice and snug. All right, now that we've put a smaller sprocket on this, you'll see the chain is extremely loose. We're going to go ahead and tension the chain properly. The first thing you need to do is open this little jam nut here, grab a 10 mil open end wrench, loosen this little jam nut, and just start backing this out until it touches. Okay, so you want to back this bolt out until you have 20 millimeters of free play in the chain. You can grab a tape measure. Talaria recommends up and down 1 centimeter. That is a bit snug for me. On this bike, the chain does get tighter when the suspension compresses. So we're going to go ahead and leave 25 mil of free play in this. You can see it's moving about 2.5 centimeters up and down. All right, if you look closely on the little tensioner block, you'll see a little arrow right there, and then you have these notches on the top. You want to be sure the left and the right side are exactly the same. So go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4.5, and then be sure the other side is exactly the same as this before you tighten everything down. Once you're happy with the chain tension, go ahead and tighten down this little jam nut. You may need 2 10 mils to keep it from moving. Do that on both sides. And finally, tighten down the axle bolt. Talaria recommends 55 Newton meters. The little torque wrench that's included with this bike is not rated that high. Just know that 55 Newton meters is tight. All right, just because you've got your chain tension set up now doesn't mean it's good forever. Chains do stretch, things get out of adjustment. Talaria recommends you check your chain tension every couple rides. All right, if you've assembled your bike, you already know how to install the front wheel. If you need help with that, the link's in the description to the assembly video. Just remember that the front axle, this is 25 to 30 Newton meters, and then all 4 of the pinch bolts are 15 Newton meters. Before you ride, be sure to air up your tires. 36 PSI in the front, 32 PSI in the rear. Once you've done that, it's time to get out there and ride.